Hey guys, I'm Eric, and this is a special edition of Retro Gaming Nerds. So guys, what is today's episode all about? Well, we're going to explore a couple things. So, all of our past episodes and future episodes are all the same. We're playing retro games on retro consoles, such as the Atari 2600 VCS, whatever you want to call it, the 5200, the 7800, the Jaguar, the NES, the Genesis, the TurboGrafx 16, amongst other consoles that come and go. There are some that I do not have in my collection that we are not having on the show just because, well, I don't have them in my collection. However, there are ways of playing these games without having the console, and that's what we want to explore in today's episode. It's all about emulation. Now, when I say emulation, there's some bad taste left in some people's mouths, such as, oh no, emulation means I'm stealing games and playing them illegally on my computer with software and stuff. Not necessarily bad. I mean, not necessarily that either. Anytime you play a classic game on a modern console, it's emulated. Even on a PC, classic games that were designed for a specific set of software or hardware that is being made to run today that you purchased legally is being emulated in some form or fashion. Well, here's the thing. What can you do? Well, there's the obvious route. You download homemade emulators that replicate the hardware of yesteryear on a modern device such as a PC, and download ROMs from the internet from a variety of different websites. No, I'm not going to tell you where these websites are. There's Google. Anyway, there are legal issues there. If you own the games and you download the ROMs to play them in this fashion, it's viewed as okay. However, not always. Sometimes the developers and the distributors, such as Nintendo or Atari or Sega or whoever, view this as bad because this game was designed and intended for this product, and it was a lot of negotiation, a lot of licensing, etc., etc. So it's a lot of gray area. A lot of people try to stay away from it for safety purposes. The benefit of this, though, is for collectors such as myself, you can download a game that you're not quite sure you want to have in your collection, play it, and then purchase it later. And then who cares about the ROM after that, because then you have the glorious game itself. Another option that is out there is basically virtual consoles on modern systems, such as the Wii U, the Wii, the 3DS, and a variety of other modern consoles. They're releasing original games emulated on this console. It's doing really good for Nintendo on their platforms because there's so many great games. You know, they got the Sega games, the Nintendo classics. They have all these great titles that are becoming easily accessible to the modern kids and modern day to relive these classics. There's also compilation discs that come out for a variety of consoles. 360, the Xbox One, the PS4, all the way up to those consoles. You can buy compilation discs from a lot of major manufacturers to play these classic games on these consoles with a few new caveats, such as, you know, having awards or trophies or whatever you want to say now available to you when you do certain things within the game. It's still the original game, but now there is a layer that is looking for certain achievements to be had, and boom, makes it modern and exciting. Yay, trophies. So there's those options. Now, emulation can be done anywhere. Like I said, modern consoles. There's also the devices like the Android TV, Nexus Player, and the one from NVIDIA, the Shield Android device. These devices allow you to hook up to your TV and become such amazing emulator consoles. Not only do you have these great games that are for these devices already, and they're way cheaper than the current run of consoles already out, but you have such an amazing amount of stuff. And emulation doesn't just mean consoles either, guys. We're talking everything from the old Atari 2600 all the way into the arcade. That's right, you can play classic arcade games on these emulated systems, like Dungeons and Dragons by Capcom. The two great arcade titles from the early and mid 90s are available throughout the internet on these devices, such as the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and in emulation for MAME. Multi-arcade something emulation. Yeah, okay, sorry, I screwed that up. But who cares? MAME. Everybody knows it as MAME. It doesn't matter. So emulation is a great way to go about this. But you don't, yeah, it's not always the best. You don't get the true feel of that game. The glitchiness, the pop-ups, the flicker, and let's not forget the Atari cramps or the Nintendo thumb or whatever you want to call them. Guys, these classic consoles are still around and they still function, and in some cases there are companies that manufacture replica systems that will give you the same experience without emulation, so you can play these great classic games on these machines. And you know what's bad is the Atari consoles that I have are not remanufactured modern versions. They are original systems. That's right, retro gaming nerds, we are 100% all natural. Getting these systems can be a challenge. We have eBay, yard sales, garage sales, flea markets, and certain video game used stores or used video game stores that are all over the place. GameStop is one now again, but they're rather expensive. Some of your smaller chains tend to have better prices, which is great because who wants to spend $80 to $100 for an old console that you can go online to eBay and spend probably half of that? Especially on the games themselves, because sometimes you get some great deals because people who are selling these things don't necessarily know how much it's worth. Especially if it's the old classic rare titles that are hard to find on the Atari, especially prototypes that they really shouldn't have, but somehow they do. So guys, there are so many options and so many ways to get into retro gaming. Look into your local gaming communities on the internet and find out if there's anything around your area that can help out. Find what stores are in your area and go to them frequently, because people will take stuff in on a whim for no reason without realizing what they have. So guys, with that, I'm Eric, trying to be your helpful retro gaming guy here on Retro Gaming Nerds.